Action. Hello, guys, and welcome to another part of our New Era series. Today, we are touching on the entrepreneurship realities, which is going to be a really great topic throughout life for me. We're going to be talking about how I made $14,000 in 8 months from my jewelry jar business. Now, I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but bear with me. As a thrift girly, of course, it's all over my algorithm. So on TikTok, I was like obsessed with watching these jewelry jar opening videos, and I just loved it. At first, I wanted to buy the mystery jewelry jars and then unpack them like I see my counterparts doing, which eventually I'll get into, because things skyrocketed and I didn't have time to have that experience. But eventually, that was my whole thought process going into the jewelry jars initially. I'm just like, I love this trend. I want to buy stuff. Let's get into it. I put together a super random mystery jewelry jar. I was trying to move some product out of my house, out of my space, and I had like an old garnish jar. If I can find it, I'll put the picture here. But it was an old orange garnish jar, and I am a collector of different jewelry pieces. So I just went ahead and put anything that I wasn't wearing in my collection, cleaned it, put it in there, and took a picture of it and listed it on Depop originally, and that's all that I did. So that first jar sold like in a couple weeks. When you're reselling, some things sell fast, some things sell slow. So I was selling it very low, I think like maybe for like 15-20 bucks. I sold that, and I was like, okay, that was cool, that was fun, that was a fun experience. And I got a DM from a beautiful lady, I believe her name is Jilly or Jillian. But she DM'd me and she asked me, am I still selling the mystery jewelry jars, or could I make her one? So I was super excited because I was like, OMG, yes. And then at the same time, I was getting questions on Depop as well. When are you going to bring this back? Can I get a jewelry jar? What's the vibe? So my business hat like starts going off. I'm like, okay, there's a demand for this product. It's a demand. Let's get into it. Let's jump into that vibe and let's see what's going to happen. So this is the pure beginning stages. I always say this is the experimental phase where you know there's a demand for a product. Now we're jumping in the lane of how can I actually sell this product. So I'm going to tell you what I did wrong first. I wanted to fill up the jars. I didn't know what type of jewelry that people were looking for, because when you watch these videos, it's really a combination of random stuff. You might find the other pair to an earring, necklaces might be busted, bracelets might be busted. You just never know what you're gonna get from the whole ordeal. So initially my thought was, I gotta find some random jewelry to put in these jars. So of course my crazy self started off on Amazon, and I was getting some very small, regular everyday type jewelry. So once I got a few orders on Depop and I got feedback back that they felt like that was cheap, it wasn't what they wanted, I was like, now let's restart and let's figure this out. At that point, we started to source jewelry from different places, and started getting into jewelry lots, which were being sold on Mercari, Poshmark. eBay is the best place personally, that I've experienced, or you can source it yourself here and there at a variety of different places. Facebook Marketplace, you could get really lucky with too. And from there, the jewelry jars were born. At this point, my mom was really interested in it, so I allowed her to come on board. She was really great at curating them. We got a lot of orders for custom mystery jewelry jars, and that is when people can request what's actually going to go inside the jar and what's the vibe with that. And so she was the person who was curating each and every jar, and then we led her into sourcing that jewelry as well. So at that time, I was just over what are the people looking for, the research and admin, as well as shipping the packages out, customer communication, everything involving the business aspect. After a while, I went ahead and made an Etsy shop because I felt like this was a very Etsy-like product. If you didn't know, Etsy is really big on unique gifts, handmade gifts and things of that nature. So I felt like this product would do really well online. And I also saw that there weren't a lot of people who were selling mystery jewelry jars online at that time. Some of the things that I did to kind of like boost the morale of my mystery jewelry jars, number one, were the fact that I leveraged off of the reviews that I had. Before selling jewelry jars, this is how I know that it's a really great business challenge for me. I never got any negative reviews or anything that was a controversial review. So I really got the opportunity to learn and gather data from my customers of what they like, what they don't like, and what they wanted us to continue, what they don't want us to continue. So that's kind of how I went through the entire process as I was learning. Once we set up the Etsy shop, we started getting orders very fast. It started off trickling in at about 5 orders per week, and then very soon, each month as it increased, I think we were at about a 12% increase each month until around May. We started getting requests on, can we get all gold jewelry jars? Can we get all silver jewelry jars? From there, I'll insert a video here where I started packing up the orders in a very static way. I'm very skilled at gift wrapping, so I added in like an additional gift wrapping charge, and that also moved my profits up as well because there were a lot of people who were gifting these jewelry jars as gifts. And some of the things that I think made my brand stand apart from the other brands on Etsy was the fact that I had like a consistent branding and really great product photos. I had a variety of different sizes. I had standard theme jars, gold, silver, mystery mix. I also had goth as well as minimalistic. There was numerous things that we were doing there. I have been selling my clothes, the secondhand fashion as well as vintage for about 5 years now. I started incorporating the vintage at least 2 years ago. So adding in pieces as we go, but actually seeing a product that came from just a small inspiration of, again, started off as a orange garnish jewelry jar, and then now we're jumping into selling like 25, 30 of those a week. It was a total difference and a complete dream, might I add. Going forward, because it's been super successful, I don't want it to be its own entity. I rather still have that store effect of having the clothes, the jewelry jars, singular accessories, and then some other products to give it that boutique and store-like feel. So overall, that's what I want from my business. But also, like, there are going to be a few changes happening with the mystery jewelry jars now that we've gotten things steady. Some of the first things that I'm going to change when it comes to the mystery jewelry jars is that we won't be doing any more custom jars just because we just don't have the bandwidth for every single person's request. And I do feel that it creates an unrealistic expectation. So far, this is the data that I'm getting when I'm looking at the reviews, when I'm having conversations with the customers, by the way. I think like their version of Y2K or their version of girly might be different than what we put together. So no more custom jars, but what we are gonna do, since we do have a Cricut machine, we will be adding in people who wanna add in names to the top of their jars or little messages. They can add in those things and we'll still have the gift wrapping upgrade if it's a gift and something that you wanna share with another person. So instead of a custom mystery jewelry jar, you'll get, one of our standard theme jars, which will be all gold, all silver, mystery mix. And then you can also add in the name of your person. It may look, this is a mock-up, but look a little something like this. In the lid, it might say like Sarah or something like that. Everybody's on the same page, including the customers and us, about what we can expect, what customers are wanting, and how we're putting that forward. In addition to this, I noticed that some people like mystery And some people don't like mystery. Some people like to know what they're getting. And that's fair as a Virgo. Like, I get that. I get that. So, for some of the theme jars as well, anything that we put together that is a theme jar, like let's say we have a lot of goth jewelry, or we have a lot of bohemian jewelry, or Afrocentric jewelry, or whatever. Any of the jars that are like that, we will actually spread out all the contents of the jewelry jar, all the jewelry pieces that we selected for that jar, and you'll find exactly what you're getting inside of those listings. So that way it gives the customer a chance to, like, either I do want a mystery experience, or B, I want to know exactly what I'm getting so I don't have any surprises. And that's fair. That way, people can have whatever they want, mystery or no mystery. So that's another new change that we're adding into our repertoire. So that's mostly all of the changes. We are on pause with the jewelry jars right now, just so that we could sell through our inventory of anything that hasn't sold in the last month or two. So right now, that's the only thing that I have on sale. However, in the next coming weeks, I will make a post when we go ahead and have our revamp for the jars, but we will be having them come back into play in the next couple of weeks. So it will be definitely before the end of September. And we'll have like a limited line of maybe like 20 jars. I know I'm going to feature them at my pop-up at Westside Market on October 18th and 19th. So I'll have a couple jewelry jars there if people want to come and buy them in person then. So people have been wondering, like, is she still selling jewelry jars? What's happening with that? We're just on pause right now as we're selling through the rest of our inventory, and then we're going to hit it strong with a fun revamp, lots of fun different jewelries, and all the new policies that I just shared with you. I think the biggest learning lesson of having this particular business and being able to profit that much that fast off of a product, I think number one, I tried to make sure I was prepared as possible. I do work in a retail store where I utilize our recycled paper, bubble wrap, packing paper, anything that is packing related, because we unbox a lot of products. So there'd be times where I'm leaving my job with like three like big black bags full of packing materials, recycled packing materials. I actually have a video of me unpacking a bunch of those here. And I really do believe that that really prepared me, because I didn't have to off the bat start purchasing packaging materials, which didn't affect my cost of goods at that time because I was getting that essentially for free. So if you do work in a place like that where it's not a problem for you to take that, or you guys were gonna throw it away anyway, it's important for you to be resourceful and think about that ahead of time. It is hard to receive negative reviews. I do want to add that in. It was the most challenging thing for me because I noticed it very early on, maybe around like month 4, where we would get like maybe like 5 reviews. And from like a batch of stuff that we sent out, we'll get like 5 reviews, and one of them was always negative. And so at first I was like, okay, so people are mentioning item quality. We need to make sure that that is something that we're working towards in the future. Definitely been days where I've been like, oh my God, they were mad about their order. They were upset. But luckily, since I've been working in retail for a long time, I actually had a service job where I was like an online chat box. And basically all I did was answer complaints for this company all the time, like on Facebook, Instagram, Better Business Bureau, like everything. And I just spent my whole day answering emails about people being displeased about, their particular product at this business. And so I feel that that carried me into my own business. So when people had issues, or they had questions, or there were misunderstandings, I was number one, very quick to answer their questions and give them a reply. I also was professional and warm. I also, third, tried to get an understanding of what it is that they had going on rather than taking it personal, right? Rather than taking it personal, they don't like my products. My mama spent all day putting these jars together. You don't like them, whatever. Like, take the personal out of it and actually see what some miscommunications can be regarding the product. So this is the first time that all this is happening to me. So I'm having to learn on the fly. I'm having to educate myself. So I'm not going to say that there were not challenges and there weren't things that we experienced that were frustrating. But also, I wouldn't trade the data and the customer experiences for the world. Is no problem if there's an issue with your order and you have to reach out to me and talk with me about it. I will more than likely help you with the situation. So yeah, after all of that, and looking at my numbers and printing out my statements, I was so proud to see how well we had done just in a small amount of time, and it's only up from there. So again, that is how I made 14K off of our mystery jewelry jars in the last 8 months. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this one. This is a little bit more yappy, more in my business, more business-like, so that people can benefit from these type of conversations. But if you guys like this video, you guys enjoyed me chatting about this, feel free to like, comment, also subscribe. I do have this on YouTube as well. But like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know if you're enjoying these type of business talks and business savvy conversations. And I look forward to getting more into it in a more organized fashion and a less yap way. So until next time, peace.